All right, this project is 50 test points. That's a lot of points. We want to make sure you have the information that you need. So go ahead and write your name, put your period number. Let me go through and show you where those 50 points come from. Okay, so first, these you should be like, yes, free points. It's got to be neat. Okay, so your drawing should be neat. There should be straight lines. Like there shouldn't be marks all over it. It shouldn't be crumpled up. If that is not what your drawing looks like right now, get a piece of graph paper and redo it because it's got to be neat. That's like 4 test points. That's like getting a question correct on a test. So make sure it's neat. This paper that I'm about to show you also needs to be neat. This is the equation sheet, right? Like there's going to be some work to do here. It needs to be neat. So if you know that you're like not the neatest person, go ahead and do the work on scrap paper and then copy it over, okay? And then the final thing that needs to happen is on your drawing, you need to number your lines 1 through 10. So like when you have your drawing, like mine's a rocket ship, right? Whatever looks like this. You need to number your lines. So like if I'm checking your work, right, and I see like I'm looking at line 3, I need to see like, oh, this is line 3 over here. So those numbers can just be small, but they just need to be neat, and I need to be able to see them on your original drawing so that when I'm checking line 3, I can easily find it on your drawing. Okay, so that's 11 points. Those are like free points, right? You just gotta, like, they have to be neat, period. Okay, now I'm gonna be you're gonna be doing math for 10 lines, right? And the lines are here. It starts here. There's the vertical lines 1 and 2, the horizontal lines 3 and 4, and then your slanted lines 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now just like, I am not gonna grade 10 because it's gonna take me forever to do that for 150 people. I'm gonna grade 3 lines. Now, I'm gonna choose the 3 lines. So when I go to grade it, I'll list like, oh, I'm gonna grade line 3, line 5, and line 8, right? And then I will grade that you have the endpoints correct, okay? That you have the slope correct, the slope intercept, the domain, and range. Okay, and you can see like on each of the lines, you're gonna be asked to provide the 2 endpoints. That's just where the lines end on the graph, okay? You're gonna find the slope using the slope formula. Okay, you're gonna check, does that slope match the graph? Like when you look at the graph, did you get a positive number and the slope on the graph is positive? When you count rise over run, does it match? And then you're gonna actually go ahead and use the slope in one of the endpoints, right? And you're gonna plug in to y equals mx plus b, and you're gonna like plug in the y and the slope and the x, and you're gonna solve for b, right? And you're gonna get your equation. And then you're gonna say, okay, like let's say you got b was like 5, right? You were like, oh, b equals 5, and you wrote your equation and it was 2x plus 5 or whatever it was. You're gonna say, oh, okay, the y-intercept is the 0.05. Is that where the y-intercept is on the graph? And you'd go and you'd look at your graph and you say, does my line actually hit the y-axis at 5? And then it should, right? And you should check that box. And if it doesn't, you should redo your work. And then your domain and range right here, you'll put your x like this. You'll put the left value of your line and the right value. And the same deal with the range. You'll put the bottom value and the top value. And then you're going to go ahead and graph this in Desmos. So whatever you get as your line, like I'm just going to like make up numbers here. When you go to graph this in Desmos, what you'll type the equation of the line. And then you'll type the domain restriction. That's what this is called. It's called a domain restriction, where you kind of cut part of the line. You'll type this in Desmos and it'll graph the line exactly like it looks on your drawing. Okay. Now that is what's being graded. All those pieces. So you'll get so half your grade comes from like the work on this worksheet being correct. Okay. Now, the other large chunk of your grade comes from, you're going to take all this work that you do on these 10 lines, and you're going to type them into Desmos, and you're going to end up with your drawing on Desmos. So you get 1 point per line. Now, you're also going to print that Desmos graph out. Okay, you can do it in the library, you can do it at home if you have a printer, but you're going to print it out and you're going to turn it in with the project. So that's another 5 points just for printing it out, and you can find directions on a separate link. Okay, so that's 15. Now, you can end up with some extra credit test points here. Okay, here's how. You can earn 1 extra point just by turning this in early, right? So you can just be like, you know what, I'm going to get it done. I'm not going to take this home with me over Thanksgiving break. That's going to suck. I don't want to do that. And you can just turn everything in by the 18th. That's next week. And done. Extra credit. Okay. You can get an extra point if you want to just like neatly color it. Some of you have a drawing of something fun and interesting, and it would look really pretty if you colored it in. So if you want to just take the extra time to make it look awesome, you can earn an extra point for that. Okay, and then the way that you can earn 2 extra credit points here is you probably have a drawing that has more than 10 lines. Okay, now if you want to recreate the whole drawing in Desmos, not just the 10 lines, that is awesome, and that is 2 points extra credit. Okay, now when you do that, you don't have to, you only have to do like the work on this paper for 10 lines, right? So for the other lines, you can just figure it out in Desmos. And you might need to do some of the work that you do on this paper, but probably not all of it. You'll probably be able to finesse it a little bit, figure it out. Okay, this is due December 1st. And if you turned it in after December 1st, you're going to lose 5 points each day. So that would be really crazy. That would be you doing work and losing points for it. So let's just make sure you have it done by December 1st. That is the Wednesday after Thanksgiving break. Okay, and now that you've watched this video and you've gotten all this information, go ahead and check this box because this is a required video so that you have this information. So go ahead and check that box that you've watched it.